Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories. Case file number 1287, written by God1643, The Hitchhiker from Hell. I live in a relatively rural area. 5 minutes up the road from me is all farmland and cattle pastures. There is a lake that we overlook, and a hill further behind us. Up on that higher hill, there have been stories of weird happenings for decades. Figures on the side of the road that vanish, people offering rides to people only for the person to disappear into thin air halfway through their response. Even one story of a pregnant woman who was kidnapped and later found walking on the road trying to get to a hospital. Those stories have been passed around in our community since about the late 1950s. Everybody kind of knows not to drive on that road late at night, but it was much higher speed limit than my road and a convenient cut-through halfway down my road. Using the cut-through cuts the time to get from the main road to my house by a full 5 minutes or so, and I was tired one night. I'm driving along, alone in my truck. It's a warm summer night. I've got the windows rolled down and I'm bopping to some kind of country song. Can't remember which one, but I know it was Glenn Campbell. On the side of the road is a very tall figure, probably near 6'6", 200 centimeters, wearing a baggy black hoodie. I slow down and drop my left window, offer him a ride in the bed of my truck if he needs to go down the road a bit. He's handsome, chiseled jaw, patchy black beard, brown eyes and very pale skin. He drops the hood to make better eye contact and doesn't smile so much as his face goes less frowny. "No sir, that's alright. I prefer this kind of ambience. Keep my mind on how it should be." I make sure he's certain mainly out of politeness. The road has harsh, very rocky sides, and I don't want him slipping because it had rained earlier in the day. He smiles a bit, and it's then that I remember what I've heard about this road. Something seems off. He smiles fine, nothing weird. Teeth are a bit crooked, but they're clean and white. "Really, sir? I appreciate the offer. You're awfully kind." He speaks with a southern accent, kinda like my cousins, but not more Tennessee than their Raleigh. He rolls his L noises and speaks slowly. "Have a good night." I nod and roll up the window and turn the music back up. As I'm pulling away, I check the side view mirror. He's still casually walking, maybe a bit fast because of the length of his legs, but it's still a walk. I get a bit of the way down the road, cruising at about 45 or so, and a minute later I look in the mirror. He is the same distance from me. He is running now, and keeping the same distance from my truck, which is moving at 45 miles per hour. I'm freaking the freak out naturally, and it's as I look harder into the mirror that I notice something is weird. He's got the hood back up, but I can still see his eyes. They're green, reflective green like a dog's. I floor it, and he stops running after me, slowing down his steps, and I hear his laughter. It echoes all the way down the hill of the cut-through to my home. I sat up the entire night, had every door locked and a bat in my hands. I did not sleep until about 2 days later when my parents got worried and drove me to my godmother's house, and her husband stayed up with a shotgun pointed at the door to keep me calm. His laughter was in my nightmares. Case notes file 1287, The Hitchhiker from Hell. So I thought the title, The Hitchhiker from Hell, seems so apt for the story because it sounds like a depiction of the devil. Not a horned demon in the religious mythos, so the devil wasn't malformed. He is an angel. Probably good looking, and his entire being is about testing humans, corrupting them through free will. They have to make their own choices, not rampaging around causing chaos directly himself. But I imagine he would get off as being a sadist and tormenting people and scaring them to hell. Still, the desire here from whatever this entity was to cause you extreme terror in your soul. It lingered for days, maybe weeks. You could hear his laughter in your nightmares. I mean, that's terrifying. Maybe we're dealing with a skinwalker or something along those lines, but the perfect mimicry of a large but polite man? I don't know. It sends chills down my spine just reading the story as a third party. Bonus file written by Eastern Fondant, 6162, Walking in Darkness and in Love. I was very depressed a year ago, tired all the time, hopeless and numb. I had no more tears to cry and was done with life, but I was too much of a coward to end things. The love of my life ghosted me for another girl. He was my friend and my confidant. All my friendships ended. I felt like life was passing me by. Between college and my internship, I would sleep all day and eat fast food. I hated life and myself for not being enough for anyone or even myself. I would stare at myself in the mirror and say ugly things about myself. I was isolated from everyone. One night, every inch of emotion came back, and in tears, I asked God why He hated me so much. Why can't I just be happy? Why am I not enough? Why do you hate me, God? Because every time I took a step forward, I would fall down 10 steps back. The next day, a Friday, after my classes had ended, I took an Uber to my internship. Around 6 p.m. my internship ended, and it was time to order an Uber home. But no Ubers were available, so I tried a different app, but somehow my debit card was not working. So I had no choice but to walk 30 minutes home, which isn't bad at all for me, but I was mentally exhausted back then. I took a shortcut through my college campus to feel safer. As I'm walking, very slowly, I feel that someone is following me and is kind of trying to catch up with my pace. So I move to the side to let this person pass me. When I got a glimpse of this person, I could tell it was a very short Asian female, maybe 4'10", 11, and she was dressed like a little kid. She gets really close, personal space, and smiles at me and tells me her name. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I was angry at life and didn't want to entertain anyone. But I told myself, don't be rude, it's not her fault your life's a mess. So I put on a smile and introduced myself. Then she said, I just want to tell you that God loves you very much. Then we parted ways. I was blown by this. Just the night before, I had asked the Almighty why He hated me so much, and now He was telling me that He loves me through what I believed to be a human angel. I tried to maintain myself, but I was overwhelmed by the emotions. I got home and broke down like a baby. Maybe I'm not alone after all. Okay, so it's for the bonus file. Walking in darkness and in love. A heavy story this is, but a very positive ending it had. As most on the channel know, I'm agnostic, which means I don't proclaim knowledge in terms of religion or spirituality, the meta layer of reality, beyond the universe. I try to understand the universe, where we're stuck in right now, how it works, the anomalies that people report, but the deeper truth behind it all, simulation, God, whatever it may be, even though I have personal preference of the simulation, I don't know. Maybe there is just a God and it's similar to the Christian ethos or Muslim or Buddhist, I don't know. If God does exist, it sounds like He wanted you to know He doesn't hate you at all. In a way, simulation or not, the purpose of our existence here would be the same, I imagine. To test ourselves, to learn who we are. And after all, you can't know how tough something is until it takes a few licks. But that doesn't mean we're alone. Hell no. Even if it's just a simulation, maybe it was your friend that was just trying to comfort you. Because imagine they could watch us play. From observer mode, I guess. Maybe those are our guardian angels, our friends in the real world. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Suffice to say, if you're a good person, you're worthy of love and respect. It doesn't matter how smart you are or skilled or what you do for work. It doesn't matter at all. It's really just about your moral character. That's it. Now time for the quote of the day. There will be a time when loud-mouthed, incompetent people seem to be getting the best of you. When that happens, you have only to be patient and wait for them to self-destruct. It never fails. Richard Ribald. If someone is rude and inconsiderate, they're probably not the smartest of people, and they'll probably make mistakes, and their own lives will self-sabotage just by their idiocy or their malfeasance. If someone is bothering you, generally speaking, it's best to ignore them. Don't give them more energy. That they want to siphon. It's like the vampire mythos where they want to steal energy from you. It's not directly through biting you and taking your blood life force. No, it's taking your mental and spiritual energy. So don't give it to them. Give them nothing. Move on. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.